calling yourself Mr. William Munny.
Say what?
You don't look no meaner than hell, cold-blooded damn killer.
I ain't like that anymore, kid.
Welcome to Classics of Cinematics. On this episode, we look at one of the most iconic Western films of all time, Unforgiven, from 1992, directed by and starring Clint Eastwood. When prostitute Delilah Fitzgerald is disfigured by a pair of cowboys, her fellow brothel workers post a reward for their murder. William Munny, a retired outlaw, responds to their offer and is drawn back into a life of violence as he seeks one final score. The film boasts a stellar ensemble cast including Morgan Freeman, Gene Hackman, and Richard Harris. Critically acclaimed, Unforgiven received 4 Academy Awards including Best Picture and Best Director. It's praised for its deconstruction of the Western genre, portraying complex characters and exploring the consequences of violence. Join us as we take a look at this unforgettable masterpiece.
All right. Hey, folks, man, this is Monk, and we are back with another episode of Classes of Cinematics, and I'm joined as always with my co-host. We got Bobby Blockbuster.
Yo, yo, yo.
Yeah, folks, so as you heard in the intro, we're going to be discussing Unforgiven, man. And I think this is a really dope Western film, man. It's also interesting because I hear a lot of people, they don't generally, like these kind of films, so I don't know if this is the best introduction to the genre, but it is a great introduction to the genre. Yes. It is a little bit more lengthy than the old school Clint Eastwood films, like the Man with No Name trilogy and things like that. But I think it is a lot more accessible to some people to see what the genre is about, man. But let's get into it, man. What's the first thing that we want to talk about with this, man?
We're gonna get into this story, dude. I mean, this movie it's gritty, it's violent, and it's unapologetic. The traditional mold of the genre was to glorify romance and to almost paint out this picture of this outlaw lifestyle that, outlaws were heroes in a sense. Mm-hmm. Whereas in this, it's kind of like the hero isn't necessarily the good guy. He's the last man standing. You know what I'm saying? And I thought that really worked for the concept and the way that this story was presented and delivered to us on screen. And, what we start with is this disgusting portrayal of how women were treated as possessions in the 1800s. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the movie starts off with, these brothel workers and these 2 cowboys, out of towners, they're doing what dudes do at a brothel and what women are having done at brothels. So use your imagination, folks. Okay. And, where one of the young women, her name was Delilah, the only thing she did wrong was laugh at this cowboy because he had a little dick. Okay, giggled at him, and so then he takes it upon himself to start slicing her face up.
Yeah, that was brutal to watch, man.
Brutal, it was hardcore.
It's they don't flinch, and the first cut is bad. Each cut that follows is just even worse. I'm watching this thing and I'm like, bro, how many times is he gonna cut her?
And the thing is,
it just comes across as just so malicious, and so it's so hateful. It's not only are you trying to hurt her, but you're
trying to maim her.
You're ruining her life, maiming, mutilation, it's almost beyond, it's crazy.
And Strawberry Alice says it. She was like, just because they ride us like horses doesn't mean they get to brand us like them. And I'm just gonna say this now, so I don't have to get into this later. This is the first time I ever saw this movie, so I was completely unaware of what was going on. I mean, soon I hit play, I was just like, what am I watching? When the law figure comes in, how he handles it, his solution for it is to not only not punish the 2 cowboys, he decides to fine them and give the pimp, whose name's, I don't know what a brothel owner would be called in 1800s, but we gonna call him a pimp, and his name is Skinny. It's okay, y'all cowboys, y'all deal with horses. Okay, how many you own? 6. You give Skinny 5. How many you own? 4. Okay, you didn't do the cutting, so you give him 2. The head brothel worker, Strawberry Alice, she's like, that's it? That's your punishment, is to give Skinny some horses for hurting her? What about what these 2 dudes did to her? They need to get killed. Something need to happen to them, which then leads us into the meat of this story, which, like I said, they were unsettled with what happened. And so they take it upon themselves to collect all the money that they have and put out $1,000 bounty on the two cowboys' heads, which I think, now, the underlying tone of this film is that violence begets violence. Two wrongs don't make a right, but somebody somewhere had to stand up for these women and help these women.
They stood up for themselves, like by putting the bounty, getting the
by
bounty
putting the
out.
bounty, exactly. And that's what I'm saying. Like, since nobody was going to help them, they had to do it for themselves. Yeah. Situations that you see through this film that are like quote unquote not right. That's the one that I didn't really feel bad about because someone had to help them and like they were left to their own devices.
It's also a thing of dignity for me. Like we let them slide with this, then what? What's the next guy going to do? This is the least penalty, and the guy only did this because of their profession. It's like they're selling sex, but I don't think that means you shouldn't be treated like a human being. Yes. And that's what it ultimately was, and I think that's part of how Little Bill looked at them. That's how Skinny.
He even made a comment to them.
And the rest of the town is like nobody cares about no cut up whore, no one's doing all this, and it's crazy, and that's why I love Strawberry Alice in this thing, man. She never wavered with her support and her advocacy for her and her girls. Yes. But also it's the era of vigilante justice, so they raise up a bounty. Basically, calling for the murder of these two guys, man. And that's when we meet our Eastwood character, who's interesting, man. I think we could probably get to the characters. We got the setup out the way, and our main character, William Munny. He's a retired outlaw, which is crazy. His wife, he's got married, he's got kids, and they've kind of settled him out from living this drunken, nihilistic, just lawless life, man. And then apparently he was one of the baddest. Yes. So that's crazy.
He was bad to the bone.
But for some reason, he gets wind of this offer, and a few other characters in this film, they get wind of the offer, and he decides, he's like, I need some money. This will help me, set my family up. My wife is dead. I'm raising my kids by themselves. I might not be here much longer. I want to make sure they have something. So he takes this job and in a way, puts together his team. Puts his team together. He's got his old man Ned out there. And he brings in a new guy, man. So that's crazy.
What I love about Eastwood as Munny is you get this like back in the saddle again vibe from him. Like you can tell from his demeanor, he's very subdued. He's focusing on this farm, but he's failing at it because obviously this is not how he spent the earlier years of his life.
He was out there wilding out instead of learning how to properly take care of pigs.
He can't even get the pigs right. Apparently some of the pigs got scarlet fever. He's trying to separate them. He can't do it. He's all rolling in the mud. He can't even jump on his horse right. You know what I mean? But the thing is that you can tell that even though he's not running from no issues, he's kind of like running from his past. He's trying to bury it in such a way because he knows that the way he was living was wrong. And he gives big credit to his wife, which we never meet because of that. I mean, they give a little scroll at the beginning of the movie that she had passed. So he's doing all this alone. That's why he needs this money to tend to his farm and his kids. But the demons of his past are really digging at him hard. Like he's really trying to just be the best man that he can be under the circumstances provided. But it's like the game just keeps calling him back. You know what I'm saying? I mean, because he would have known nothing about this bounty. This little unsuspecting kid just shows up. He's like, hey man, I heard about you. My uncle was telling me all these war stories about the great Will Munny and said that you were, you're like the Grim Reaper on wheels, bro, and da 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 da. And
on hooves.
Yeah, on hooves. There you go. Yeah, that's better. That's better. Yeah. Let me forget. We're talking about the 1800s here. And also you kind of get the sense that when it comes to Will, like, it wasn't the money that pulled him in. He was like, what happened? Why is this bounty on them? And the dude is like, man, they cut this woman up. They cut her bad. And, that's where
something about that affected him for some reason here, man.
And you see this light click on. And he's like, I love Morgan Freeman as Ned, man. Like, that's Clint Eastwood's homeboy. And he's the first one. He decides like, yo, if I'm going to go on this journey, I want my homeboy with me. And like, apparently they were like, they were Batman and Robin in a sense. They did all their work together. But what I like about Ned is that, see, unlike him, like Clint Eastwood or Clint Eastwood, he's not running from his past. He's pretty much set in his ways. He's like, yo, that was a life that is now far beyond me. I'm content where I'm at.
He seems over it too. Like Eastwood still seems to be carrying some type of guilt and big regret and PTSD. Ned is just like, I did it, and it is what it is, and it's done. I don't really want to do it no more. See, also, we find out later. Like
Ned also has a lot to lose. I mean, Clint Eastwood is struggling with every aspect of life, raising the kids alone, the farm. Ned still has his wife. Ned still has, all of his reasons to be happy and feel whole. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I like, because what Ned is to Will is he is the voice of reason. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's kind of the one who keeps Will kind of focused on the subject at hand and constantly reminding him, like, yo, do you think we still got the guff to do this? You think we can really still do this? And that's what I like too, because there's a part where Ned pulls out a bottle of whiskey and he's like, yo, it starts raining. He was like, yo, I figured we're gonna need this for the killing. And it's raining, so mine as well. Like, I like the fact that between Will and Ned, they both give big credit to the acts, their lawless acts as outlaws was heavily driven by whiskey. It was alcohol infused, because it has emphasis to the fact that it's hard to hurt people. It's harder to kill people. You need something to numb the soul.
It happens, man, because like one of the things that stands out to me from The Wire, there was that scene when that season where Cuddy was working with the kids.
Yes.
And they pretty much put a hit out on Navin and his crew. And they send that one kid in, and basically they give him like, yo, takes a bunch of lines, and he goes in and he tries to take a hit, but he messes up. He fails. I think one of them takes a gun, and then Cuddy even says it. He was like, man, you lucky that boy was jacked up like that, or you would have been dead. Because sometimes they'll do that, like killers. It takes the edge off. It makes it easier for them to pull off the violence. They take a shot or whatever. They go in high. And it is what it is. It's a way to kind of numb themselves to what they're doing. I mean, we've seen that shit in like the Liberian Civil War, when you got General Butt Naked and all them dudes running around with machetes and AKs. His name was
General Butt Naked?
Yeah, that's a crazy story. But they basically getting these kids, because he went to war butt naked. And I like the African version. It sounds like bot naked. But basically they give these soldiers, just get them high so they can do these crazy, outrageous acts of violence,
to turn the heart to a freezer, to have your blood pumping ice water.
And I think that comes up great later on when Ned has to change of heart, and he's like, I can't stomach this, and he realizes he don't have it in him no more.
Yeah, and see, and whereas Will, he keeps saying, he's like, my wife, she got me off the whiskey. He keeps telling himself, he's like, I'm just a regular guy now. I don't drink. I don't do these things. But the thing is, he's still got that fire in his belly. It's just real dimmed out. You know what I'm saying? But that whiskey will make that damn fire engulf again.
He don't need the whiskey. Like later on when they run into that first guy and they
he wasn't whiskeyed up,
and they shooting at him and I love it how Ned is like, I can't do this, man. And like he looks at him,
he's like, and you see the pain in his face.
Yeah, because the guy's kind of sitting there, even though they're trying to take this guy out for the bounty, he's there unarmed. He's stuck. The horse fell on him and broke his leg. So, I mean, even though he's the target, he's still sitting out there in the open. He can't defend himself, and that's messing with Ned so bad he can't do it. And then William does it, but he's easily do it, but it's so far, he's just out of his shooting range. Well, but he's still taking them shots like nothing. Like
the Schofield kid, he not only is he super green, and he's just like, he's one of these ones that like he's glorifying the lifestyle because of the stories. My man can't see. Yeah. He can't see at all. How
did he find the Schofield kid? That's the part I don't remember.
Because Schofield kid comes to Will's ranch, and then Will's like, if I decide I'm gonna work with you, I'm gonna catch up.
Schofield kid has gotten wind of the bounty too, and he knows Ned used to be the guy.
He's the one who came to Will.
And
then Will goes to get Ned, and then they go to catch up with the kid. But then my man, they're going through the field, and then someone starts shooting, and Ned's like, "Whoa, someone's shooting at us! Are we at someone's field? Are we in someone's field?" And he's like, he's spraying the whole field, and that's when they find out that my man can't see long distance. He can see maybe like 50 yards in front of him. So up close, cool. But
there's a little bit of dark humor in this, and I think that's one of the scenes where it lightens this thing up a little bit.
It does,
even though they're shooting
definitely.
at him.
Yeah, I mean, they're just like when Ned is like, he's like, "Well, they're shooting at us." And he was like, "All right, now he's shooting over there." He's like, "Oh shit, he's shooting at us again." You know?
Yeah, my bad. I mixed. I forgot about that. Like, yeah, because it came. Yeah, but man,
you know what?
It's interesting, man. Because I do love the Schofield kid's character because he's gun ho. He's out to prove himself. He's out to make a name for himself, and not only get this money for his reason. He might have been the guy that was reading those stories of the Wild West guys and got sucked into it. I'm like, damn, I wish they would write about me one day. I want to be infamous. Yeah, I want to be Billy the Kid. I want to be William Cody.
Exactly. And you get that vibe from him because like every time he starts asking Will about past stories and stuff, he's like, well, my uncle told me this, and this, and you like playing this shit off like it's nothing. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But you know what? Even though Will and Ned, they needed alcohol to help them commit their crimes and do the things that they had to do. The one person that's just river run cold, heart is just non-existent is damn Little Bill.
Little Bill Daggett.
Oh man, and he is the sheriff of this town of Big Whiskey.
Name, yo, that's a damn Western name if I ain't never heard of him.
This dude, he's so hardcore, he's so cold, so callous and evil, like just methodically evil, but sadistic in the way that he imposes his law giving.
You know what fucks me up about movies sometimes? Sometimes I think they're too good where you're looking like, I love seeing Little Bill being bad. Like it's not like you're co-signing what he's doing, but it's so entertaining sometimes to watch a good actor knock it out of the park playing a bad person. Like I just saw Killers of the Flower Moon, and motherfucking De Niro kills it as the bad guy in that movie. And it's same thing with Gene Hackman here. It's like you love to hate him. And that's just, I think that's so great when that happens in a movie.
The thing about his character too, not only is he so good at portraying this role, but it's like when you look at it, like in a lot of films, you know, the lawman is supposed to be the good guy. The cop is supposed to be good. And what's crazy about him is in his mind, in his twisted brain, he thinks what he's doing is righteous. He thinks what he's doing is good. Yeah. And
it's a power trip too.
Definitely, because what he is one of these, he's a prime example of someone who is manipulating the law to their own personal benefit. Like he's exacting punishment as he sees fit. It's not always just. It's not justifiable. But it strokes his ego and it instills fear. Like he's one of these guys, he wants to drive fear into the rest of the townspeople so no one bucks back. I mean, like he's making it up as he goes. Like he puts a sign outside of the town that says no weapons allowed. But that's, you can't. That's a constitutional right.
That's what I'm saying. That's the weirdest thing because that's part of how he maintains it. Because I love our guy Richard Harris, who's the Englishman, who gets wind of the bounty, and we see him coming into the town looking to take out these horse guys, and it's interesting because the train's coming in, so this is even way before you get to the town. Like there's plenty of warning for it seems like on most of the major routes, unless you just rode in through the fucking brush or whatever. However, like you can't miss it, or you came in at night, you might have missed it. And it says no guns allowed in this territory, and then that shows you how that he maintains his power here. You know what I'm saying? Because if not, anyone could have came in here and just boom, boom. But also the thing about this particular case, this is vigilante justice.
Yes.
No matter how you look at it, these women paid and put a bounty. Technically, it is illegal, but they can't stop anything except to stop the people who are trying to claim the bounty. And so when English Bob comes in, I love this moment because he's coming so arrogant, in. Dog. I love it. Like he's so good in this movie. Like on the way in on the train, man, he challenged their gunfighter. He's like, man, you can't shoot. Yeah, and then this is the crazy part. He's like the first one to get 10 pheasants. Yeah. This mug is plucking off pheasants on a moving train
with a pistol.
Like, and the thing about him, I love that he's so skinny in this because it shows you the skill set is way different back then. Like you don't care how skinny I am. I don't gotta fight, but I can shoot these guns.
Yes, you're right. You're right. We ain't boxing here, Chief.
I love his character, but then it's funny too because they like Little Bill knows what's going on in his hood. That's a sign of a good goon, a bad guy. Yes. They know what's going on in their territory, and they intercept my man and they disarm him. And Little Bill takes a moment because I feel like at this point it's not about the woman's honor or whatever. He's just enforcing his rules. It's like, I told you guys what was going to happen. These guys' punishment, and this is it. Like anything else, if I let anything else slide, then that takes away power from me. And he maintains it by whooping English Bob's ass and sending him home.
And he does that to spread the word, because that's the thing too. I feel like, we were talking about this before the show. He also doesn't want nobody else to come in there with no guns, because that way the only ones that have weapons are him and his deputies. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So
and his deputies is like anybody. Who the fuck is it?
Yeah,
it depends on who he's cool with. That
friends. Yeah, it's his friends. You know what I mean? And
I feel like if you beat him in Madden, man, give me that badge.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, it's like so they when it's 8-on-1 and they all got guns on you, and then they disarm you, and then after he disarms you, he beats the snot piss out of you. While everybody else has still got the guns on you. So even if you could throw them things, you better not get out on them, because then they're gonna shoot you anyway. Yeah. So he's doing this to then reassert the fact that he is the man in this town, and he's like, okay, just as fast as that word spread about this bounty, well, now this word's gonna spread that if you come, I'm gonna kick your ass.
And they make an example.
I'm gonna kick your whole entire ass. And
said, write it down, take a picture.
Yes, and then he was talking big shit while he was kicking Little Bill's ass, or not Little Bill, English Bob. He was like, man, they talk about me in Abilene, they talk about me in Kentucky, bang, bang, bang. But then what's funny too is that English Bob, he comes off so upper class and prestigious and royalty. After he got flexed, when he finally got out of the jail cell, you could just tell he was over it. Like his true colors shine. He was like, man, fuck y'all. That's why I don't like this place. The queen is better. Fuck y'all. Fuck your president. You know what I'm saying? You low life whores.
I love. But the funny part about him, he's talking shit the whole way into town. He's like, damn. He's like, so they shot at 4 of your presidents? They never shoot at the queen. It's just dropping all this a lot of shade, man.
Better than thou attitude, man. Yes,
it's great, man. Yes. Also, I'll just give a quick shout out to Strawberry Alice, who actually puts stuff in motion.
Yes, she does.
And she's the first advocate that night for our cut up Delilah. She's the one that gets them to contribute dollars here and there, so they raise up this bounty. And she never wavers her support, bro. She wants these guys murdered. And what's interesting to me at this time is this is the Wild West, man. And I think, murdering these guys is a bit extreme, but at the same time, what they did was super extreme. And I don't it is what it is, man. I don't think their intention. If Bill would have handled it better, they would not have called for these guys' death. But also, I think it's also their challenge to Bill, man, because you know what I'm saying. And the only reason I think Bill didn't go off on them is because he had respect for Skinny. You know what I'm saying, and because Skinny is another man and a businessman, and and they have that relationship, then he's letting Strawberry Alice slide. Just imagine if Strawberry Alice was a brothel owner. This probably would have went way different with Bill, man.
They'd have set the place on fire and killed all of them.
And the thing's crazy to me because honestly, I think if Ned was the cutter, Ned would be dead, bro. So I it's just messed up how this whole thing was handled. If you're gonna do the law, level that shit equally. Yes, even the playing field. Either you're gonna throw the book at him, or you're gonna give him a slap on the wrist.
That's what makes Little Bill so evil in his own right, because he's making it up as he goes along. You know what I'm saying?
She even says it,
and he's discrediting people that he
they
feels
didn't even get whipped.
Yeah, he discredits people that he feels are beneath him or beneath society that they have in this town, and that's just whack. You know what I mean? So and speaking of the town, I really like the set pieces. I mean, like I said, I don't have a lot of Western movie experience, but man, this feels like the 1800s. It feels like, I mean, like the way they walk on like hearing the wood creaking, and I mean, just these landscapes. I mean, it was, for this to be such a violent film, it was so aesthetically pleasing, visually beautiful. It is. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it is. And I think we were talking earlier how like, there's no music in this. There's music in the very beginning, and then later on there's a little bit of music, and then after that it's the very end when we get some more music, when it's all wrapped up. And I think that adds to the atmosphere, because then all we're dealing with is just the sound of life, the creaking wood floors in the buildings, the steps, the mud or the horse steps, and or the rain when it rains.
Yes, the simplicity of it all. I mean, because there's no radios, there's no TV. It's just people talking, and then the world happening. You know what I'm saying? And it's so cool. And then what really intensifies this for me is the scenes that were shot at night, especially the final scene. Like when Will walks in, and I mean, he has like the Jordan version of cowboy boots, because you hear his like spurs clicking every time he walks. I was like, man, those are some real deal cowboy boots right there, bro.
And a lot of the bad stuff happens in this movie at night. Even when it opens up, it's a nighttime scene.
I mean, and like I said, it's so visually pleasing, but then it adds to the impact of what's going on. I mean, when you get into this final battle, bro, I mean, like Clint Eastwood, I mean, he cold as ice by this point, like after, you know, because they end up bodying the cowboys. And I like the fact too that, you know, the Schofield kid does kill the other cowboy, and, you know, he does it up close because that's how he can see him. But you see how him taking that life affected him. I mean, he was crying, he was drowning in the whiskey, and Clint Eastwood, his only solution, like the only way to comfort him was like, take another shot.
There's a couple scenes that got me like, that was one of them when the kid is about to cry, and it's interesting because he lies about what happened. He says a guy drew a gun on him. He caught that guy in a porta-john on the body,
taking shit,
and the only movement he made was to put his hands up, like trying to block, but he shot an unarmed man, and then to see that
in a very defenseless moment. I mean, you're at anyone's will when you in there dropping a dude,
and to see that eat at him like that, that's crazy. So there's another scene too, man. Like I think Ned and Bill and the kid, they come to the bar in town. There's a rainy night, and Ned and the kid, they go upstairs. Will's down there. He's sick. And he gets his ass beat because
Little Bill English bobbed him. He did the same thing they did to English Bob.
Catches him. He has a gun on him. Beat his ass. Ned and the kid, they're able to sneak out. You know, he comes back, and the prostitutes kind of patch him up. And this scene like really hit me hard when Delilah offers him like, yo, if you want, you know, we could roll around a little bit. And he's like, I don't want to do that. And it's kind of fucked up, but at the same time, it's like, and she's thinking, it's because of my face. And he says, no, I got my wife at home. And he's lying because his wife is dead. You know what I'm saying? But he said that in order to make her feel better about herself. And that shit hit me really hard, man. That was some thoughtful shit for this character, but it also indicates why he even took this job in the first place a little bit. You know, like that shit, that shit, it's subtle, but that got me, dude. I was like, damn. Another
part that hit me was when he had the fever, and he keeps telling Ned, like, the ghosts of his past are chasing him. He's like, he was like, I saw that dude that I killed. Remember the guy
like a fever dreams.
Yeah, the guy shot and the teeth came out the back of his head. He was like, yeah, I saw him. He had snakes coming out of his eyes. I saw my wife. She looked terrible, worms all over her face. Even saw the Grim Reaper. Like, you could tell, like, his past was really eating on him, where Little Bill and Big Whiskey as a town, where they fucked up is they killed Ned. Because after they killed the first cowboy, Ned, he wanted no parts. He was like, yo, I'm out of here. I'm going home. I don't give a damn about the money. And
Ned didn't even pull the trigger or nothing. Yeah, Will, I don't think Ned might have caught a body or two, but it wasn't, you know.
But Will was like, don't worry, you're still going to get your cut. I'll catch you on the flip side when we get back in town. And you know, and then the Cowboys caught Ned, and, you know, Little Bill is like, he ends up beating Ned to death for information. And so while they're breaking the bread down, or the coins, I guess it was coins back then, it wasn't even dollar bills. But, you know, they're breaking it up three ways. And the one worker, she was like, well, why are y'all breaking it in three ways? He was like, well, for Ned's share. And she was like, Ned is dead. And you see a whole switch in Will's tune. He was like, what? Ned didn't even kill nobody. He was like, why'd they kill Ned? And then he was like, hey, kid, give me that bottle. And then that was the first time in the whole movie you see him
took
drink.
it willingly.
First time he took a drink, and then he took a couple more, and then he said, "Kid, now give me your gun." And then he goes into town. It's funny.
He sends the kid away.
He was like, I don't need your help. You're damaged goods now, And he was like, the kid's like, "Go take my gun." I ain't never gonna kill nobody again.
I don't think he thought he was gonna come out alive. So he's like, I'm not gonna drag you into this with me, kid. Like, I'm not coming back.
And the funniest,
like, one way or another, he's like, basically that's in his mentality. I'm gonna do what I gotta do, but I'm not coming back.
Win, lose, draw.
So take this money, go live your life. Make sure you drop the shit off to my kids and Ned, and you're clear. You're clear with me.
It's funny because, dude, like I said, they set the tone. It's dark, and then they're in the little brothel, and Little Bill, he's in there. He rallies the
there holding court,
and he's like, yeah. So what we gonna do? We gonna flank them from this side. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do this. We're gonna get the skunks to show their face. And as soon as he says that, dog, my man walks right in there. He's like, "Man, you ain't gotta worry about none of that. I'm right here." You know what I'm saying? Man. And then he's like, "Yo, which one of you jokers own this place?" And then Skinny's like, "Well, I do." He was like, "Y'all might want to back up a little bit."
He got the shot.
He was like, "Y'all might want to back up." Bam! Wow. Plug Skinny. And then, of course, Little Bill's like, "Hey, man, you're a coward. He's a defenseless man." He was like, "Well, he should have been armed. He should have armed himself. He should have armed himself. He want to have my homeboy out here as a decoration."
Yeah, he should have shot him. He should have armed himself if he's going to have my friend out.
Have my homie out here in front on display. You know what I'm saying?
This is like one of the cold, because I hadn't seen this in a while, so I forgot how that played out.
Yeah, man.
And it's so great, man, because so he's got the draw on everybody, but he's clearly outnumbered, man. And then all of a sudden, him and Bill have their little thing. And Bill's talking shit. He's like, "Man, if you shoot me, they gonna get on you, blah, blah, blah."
And he didn't care. he didn't care. So he let off. Poof, but misfire, right? Mm-hmm. So Little Bill's like, "Misfire. Get him."
Yeah.
And then here's the funny thing, because foreshadowing is real, because there's a part where Little Bill is talking to Beauchamp, who was like English Bob's biographer. And he tells him the art of gunfighting. You have to keep your cool, make sure you aim, take your shots, don't lose your head. Mm-hmm. If you pull out too quick, you start shooting too quick, you're going to miss. Yeah. And every one of his deputies did that.
And he said a lot of guys panic in the moment.
Panic.
You're 10 feet apart.
And then you just see Eastwood. I mean, he hit a little bit of a dip. And he was like,
"Stay low and keep firing."
Bam. He hit. Bam. Everybody he hit, you know what I'm saying, with ease.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
and everybody else is just
I'm surprised they didn't shoot each other.
Yeah,
like, they were just flaring off. Ding, 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 ding.
He drops like 5 dudes in like seconds. It's like, bow. And then the rest of them, they just run the fuck up out of there. Yep. Like, the panic.
And then it's so wild, because then he runs up on Little Bill, because he hit Little Bill in the stomach, and then he picks back up the shotgun, reload, and Little Bill's like, "I don't deserve this. I'm building a house." And we'll look at him. He's like, "Deserves got nothing to do with this." I was like, man, my man is, he cold, dog. He cold. Yeah. But I get it. Mm-hmm. Like, he knows the whole town is there. He's like, "Any of y'all shoot me?" He's like, "I'm going to come back. I'm going to kill you. I'm going to kill your wife. I'm going to burn your house down." You know what I'm saying? And then everyone's scared. He has everybody's heart. Mm-hmm. And he's like, "And y'all better give Ned a proper burial too." You know what I'm saying?
Y'all better pay for this shit.
And I'm burning the damn place down, dog.
Y'all better pay for this shit.
Yes,
God,
man.
damn. I mean, it's raw, man. It's one of the hardest like ending moments. Like, what I love about it, there's no music. No, dude. Like that shit it almost feels like you're watching a documentary at times. So you're just like, man,
you hear him talking shit, gunshots, and then boots. That's it.
Yeah. And boots. Yeah, this is a hard movie, bro. Yes. I fucks with this,
and dude,
man.
It won the amount of awards it did for a reason. I mean,
I think he got Best Picture and Best Director.
Best Picture,
for this.
Best Director, and Gene Hackman got Best Supporting Best Supporting Actor.
He deserved that, man.
I want to say the producer, I think he won something as well. And then, I mean, dude, it's a laundry list of awards. And then, I mean, speaking of the impact, this movie was so impactful, not just visually. You know, this movie played in theaters for almost a year.
Almost I can see that, because it probably got its initial run and then the Oscar buzz run.
It dropped
August 7th.
August 7th, 1992. It was pulled from theaters July 15th, 1993, dog. That is,
damn.
Let me do my math right quick. That's 343 days, dog. Even though this film is violent, I mean, it's really I like how the underlying tone is really anti-violent.
Yeah,
They're showing
it is, man.
how destructive violence can be and the pain that it causes, not only the one that's the violence is inflicted on, but those around them and the individual that's inflicting it. I mean, it was a heavy hitter, man. Like I thoroughly enjoyed watching this.
I knew you was fuck with it, man. I was telling you, man. I was like, yo, watch
I am
this
glad
shit.
for the recommendation. That was good, cool. And this is another great film to talk about on this show, man.
Oh, I let him hold the. I was telling you, man, watch the Outside Josie. So you going back home with this too, man. That's gonna be your next.
I gotta watch Josie Wells.
You gotta watch. Josie
I'm going back to the
Wells.
West. I'm going back to the West.
Yeah, well, I think we can wrap this up, folks, man. Make sure you check us out. What's the next film? I forgot. I don't know.
Ooh,
but. What?
The Big Boss.
Yeah. So we're going to go into Bruce Lee's first film, The Big Boss, on our next episode.
Also known as Fists of Fury.
Yeah. There's some weird naming stuff that happened.
Yeah,
back in the day.
Fist of Fury came out a couple years after. This one was Fists with an S of Fury.
yeah.
But it's The Big Boss.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we're going to be talking about that next time. So make sure you subscribe to the channel, turn on your notifications so you know when new episodes come out. Catch me at Monkey Blood on Twitter, Instagram, and you can follow us at Classics of Cinematics on Instagram.
This is Bobby Blockbuster. You can catch me on the next show.